full-time Knicks now?
Yep.
SMQBs, this is episode 150. That's 150. And in 50 more episodes, the two SMQBs who did not get their tattoos will get branded. That's it. You had a choice. It was either a tattoo at 100 or a brand at 200. You were almost there. So
Pick the peck.
Can it be like Yellowstone, like with like the Y on the peck?
Yeah. We also have a friend named Pete Best who would like to join the pod. So in case you guys don't get tattooed, there's always always Pete Best waiting in the wings.
House with the good Beatles references lately. Someone was Yoko'd recently.
Yeah.
Right. Someone was not Yoko'd.
It's true. Yoko did not.
All right. Boy. Rooster, let's start with you. Who are you bringing to the bar?
Oh, I hadn't thought about this. Skip me.
All right. Hope.
Roy Williams.
Oh, big winner.
Love to know what's going through his mind as he watched the game on Saturday and his former players come back, get honored. Tyler Hansbrough going to College Basketball Hall of Fame. See kind of where he is in life now. I'd love to visit with him.
Milk?
I would like to know. I'd like to sit with whoever puts the Gatorade for the Chiefs sideline because I want to know what color it is for my prop bet. That's where I'm at.
All right. House?
Last week I caused an international furor and also
you did.
Who are you gonna kill tonight?
And also 1.5 million listens to our pod because of it. But this week I would like to have a drink with whoever's going to be doing the surgery on Joel Embiid to let him know that I'm an accomplished trial lawyer and I suspect that he should take great care in repairing that meniscus very nicely.
There you go. All right,
I'm ready.
All right, what do you got, Rooster?
I'm going with Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, yeah,
I would like to have a drink with him and ask him what in the hell he was thinking about going to ride those broken down go-karts that Ferrari is putting out there.
Well, it's funny that you should
mention money.
It's funny that you're bringing Lewis to the bar because I am bringing Carlos Sainz to the bar because I want to know exactly what he feels like saying. I'll bet you he's got some things to say right now.
He's got nothing else to do.
He needs a drink. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
So that's
He'll get a ride.
Bring in. He should, but you never know. You never know. All right, guys, let's jump into it. It is Super Bowl week.
Woo!
House, let's just jump into it. What do we got? What's the preview? Get it going.
Well, I mean, the colors didn't work out so well. You guys know about the colors, that the colors of the Super Bowl have predicted the last three Super Bowl competitors. It didn't really work out that well, unless, of course, Taylor Swift wears purple to the Super Bowl. Then everything will be fine. But look, I think there are a lot of great storylines that I was hoping that we could all kind of kick around on the pod. Maybe something a little different than what everybody else is talking about with, the dynasty emerging at the Chiefs, Mahomes at 28, getting yet another Super Bowl. Is this Andy Reid's last ride? Where does he fall? So I'll get it kicked off about maybe some other storylines that might not be the exact front page storylines. And I don't want to talk about Mahomes and the Chiefs offense. I actually want to talk about the Chiefs defense, because I think that's been a very underrated part of their postseason story. It turns out that with Steve Spagnuolo, who, as Rooster knows, was a terrible head coach, but is a damn good defensive coordinator. They've really turned things around. They averaged 17
Can you say
points.
Dan Quinn?
Exactly. Bingo.
We'll get
Great
there.
Coordinator, though.
We'll get there.
Great regular season coordinator. I'll give you that.
Spagnuolo took that team to 17 points allowed in the regular season and only 13 in the postseason. And I think as much as we talk about Travis Kelce and of course, Mahomes. This San Francisco offense, with a lot of weapons in it, produced almost 400 yards per game and almost 30 points per game. And so we normally talk with San Francisco about their defense, but this game, I think if the Chiefs are going to repeat as Super Bowl champions, it's going to come down to their defensive side of the ball. And can they hold? I think if they hold San Francisco under 24 points, they win the game. And I think they can do it. I think they can do it. We'll get to the prop bets as to what are the total points, but will the Chiefs hold the 49ers under 24 points? And if they do, I think they come away as repeat Super Bowl champs. That's my storyline. What do you guys got?
Well, I know you don't want to focus necessarily on Mahomes and all that, but I thought the numbers in this game are really interesting as far as what's at stake. There's only 4 quarterbacks who have 3 Lombardis. That's the GOAT at 7, Terry Bradshaw with 4, Joe Montana with 4, and Troy Aikman with 3. So if Mahomes gets his 3rd before he's 29 years old, he will join that elite club and going nowhere but up. For coaches, Andy Reid gets an opportunity to join the same elite club with 3 Lombardis. There's only 4 coaches with 3. You got Belichick with 6, Chuck Noll with 4, Bill Walsh with 4, and Joe Gibbs with 3. So a lot on the line here for the Chiefs win really puts them in a very, very elite category for both quarterback and coach.
And what would this be for Super Bowls for San Fran? Is this would this
6.
put them?
This
6?
would be 6. But here's another stat. When's the last time San Francisco won a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
The last time, I think it was the time I went to it. It was 11 years ago, maybe.
No, they lost. That was the Harbaugh Bowl.
Yeah, that was the night.
That was Harbaugh. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Believe it or not.
Was it the Chargers?
Believe it or not, San Francisco hasn't won a Super Bowl since Dallas has won a Super Bowl.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
1995 with Steve Young.
No one ever talks about this.
Yeah, that's when they beat 95. Yeah, that's when they beat the Chargers.
That was sandwiched between 3 out of 4 for the Cowboys in the mid.
Was that the Stan Humphries year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Stan Humphries. Yep.
But you're right. You're right, Milk. I mean, that's quite a drought for an elite dynasty franchise.
Well, Dallas gets shit on for this, but no one ever talks about the 49ers.
Well, but the Niners have at least gone to championship games and multiple. At least San Francisco's gone to multiple championship games and 2 Super Bowls since 1995. The same can't be said for the Cowboys in '96.
I'm going to take the counterpoint to House's position. The Niners gave up 4 number 1 draft picks for CMC. I forgot about that, but that's a lot to give up for him. But in exchange, he led the league in yards from scrimmage, over 2,000. He's tied for first with 21 touchdowns, and he's led the league in first downs, 114 first downs. I think it's going to come down to coaching too. I thought the coaching against the Chiefs in the last 2 playoff games was lacking. We talked about this. The Chiefs can't stop the run, and the Ravens didn't run against them. Can't understand why. The Bills didn't do a very good job running in their last game either against the Chiefs. So I think Shanahan's going to do a better job of that, and I think what he might do is pass on running downs, maybe pass on first down, and run the ball second and third down, and eat the clock, and use McCaffrey and the screen game and Debo, and just have long sustained drives and keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands. And then on defense, for God's sakes, I don't know, we've been talking about this for years. Why not just double cover Travis and keep an eye on Rashee Rice? And what in the hell are they going to do if there's nobody else on the team to throw the ball besides those 2 guys?
Or they can catch it.
No, to throw the ball to. I mean, they can't catch the ball. The rest of them can't catch the ball can't get open.
So I have 2 storylines that I want to watch. One is potentially an after game storyline, and that is involving Brock Purdy. If with all the offensive weapons, the Niners don't win the Super Bowl, what is going to be, and of course we got to see how he plays, but it's also his first, it's first Super Bowl for him. He's going up against a very seasoned Super Bowl quarterback. What will the story be about Brock Purdy after this? Does he prove that he deserves to have all this hype around him, or are there whispers that start coming that we're wasting the talent that we have on offense with the game manager? Now, I've been very complimentary of Purdy on here on this podcast, but if they don't put up points and don't score with that offense, with the weapons they have, I think you're going to hear a little bit of that. But the other storyline that I feel compelled to talk about, and it involves a tight end playing who really has something to prove and wants to have a big game because of who's watching. And I think that's George Kittle. Why is George Kittle? Nobody's talking about Kittle, who's probably a better tight end than Kelsey in a lot of ways. Yeah, two of the best, right?
Better blocker for sure.
He's definitely a better blocker. And I think Kittle's in my view, he's a strange dude. I bet you he's got one hell of a chip on his shoulder with Kelsey getting all the attention. So I keep an eye on Kittle on what he can do in this game, and particularly with a quarterback who's, this is a big first Super Bowl for Purdy. Tight end's always a good option there.
Bison, I think Purdy's up to the task, and is gonna bring home the Super Bowl for the Niners. If he doesn't, I'll bet that the story of the game is Pacheco. I think if the Chiefs win the game, it's going to be because Pacheco runs the ball down there.
So wait a minute, Rooster. What I hear you saying is that if one team wins, it's the quarterback. If another team wins, it's the running back. Except you've got Pacheco is more important than CMC in this game, and Purdy more important than Mahomes.
No. Nice try.
I think that's what I heard you say.
No, you didn't hear me say that. I'm just saying that I do think that the Niners are going to scheme to cover Kelsey and Rashee Rice, and that leaves one more option for the Chiefs, and that's Pacheco, who's been running his ass off during the playoffs. He really has. I think CMC is the best player on the field next to Mahomes, probably Mahomes, then CMC. And Brock Purdy is nowhere close to either one of those guys in terms of talent, but I think he's going to rise to the occasion and pull an adequate performance to get it done. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar. I just think he's going to do enough to get it done.
I do want to hear from Milk, but I just got to say that it's kind of remarkable how much pressure Mahomes puts on the opposing quarterbacks. We had a storyline last year of a first-time quarterback in a Super Bowl that needed to ball out and beat the great Patrick Mahomes. And in fact, he did, Jalen Hurts, and had he had a last possession, who knows what would have happened. But once again, we have another Super Bowl with now in that Super Bowl, it turned out that Hurts got a lot of respect from the way he played that game. I think Purdy can lose this game and still earn a lot of respect. If he plays really well, he just ran into the Mahomes brick wall. But it's true, Bison. If he comes up really, really short and doesn't ball out the way Jalen did last year, then there may be some questions about it. It's a good point.
Ridiculous. What kind of standard are we putting on this poor kid? He's in his second year. He's in the Super Bowl, and you guys are ready to cut him if he doesn't win.
Not cut him.
You would for sure cut him.
I would cut him.
It's crazy.
So Pope is dying to say something.
He's dying to say something, but he's on mute.
He got put in the penalty box.
And he had 2 fourth-quarter comebacks in the NFC games.
Right.
No one wants to cut him.
You would totally cut him.
No. I don't want to cut him.
This is
He
the
just
only
wants
thing
him to back up Sam Darnold.
Cut him some
this is
slack
the
at
only thing I
least.
want to add. There are, I mean, talk about motivation. Is anyone else just like, I'm sorry, we'll get into the betting in a second, but the fact, and don't think that these players don't see this and get pissed off by it, but the fact that the 49ers are favored in this game has to be a huge motivator for Mahomes and Kelsey. I mean, that's a little bit of disrespect to them.
Has been for the whole playoffs.
Right. And what am I forgetting? I mean, what am I missing here? I saw a 49ers defense almost lose to the Packers. Could have very easily lost to the Packers. They got owned by the Lions.
Should have
I mean,
lost
it took the most remarkable comeback ever for the Lions to be the Lions. And now you're putting them in against the Chiefs defense and you're making the Chiefs the underdog? I don't know. Look, I'm going all in on the Chiefs. I think this is not even going to be that close. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
the
story we haven't talked about? Vegas, the location. All kinds of shit can happen this week in Vegas.
It will happen.
There's definitely going to be a murder.
Kadarius Toney will probably wind up dead.
Somebody's going to end up eaten by a tiger,
I mean,
right?
You know, the teams are staying 45 minutes away from the strip, and they have like a zero tolerance rule, but you know there's going to be something, that happens potentially that could affect this game. Somebody could get arrested for doing something stupid.
We all grew up with this notion that like sports can't get anywhere near Vegas. There's gambling, there's all this stuff, and now it's like
Hookers.
Open season. It's crazy.
So, oh my God. Andy Reid's going to get caught with a hooker. That's going to be the story.
Oh God.
What's the prop bet on that?
That actually, that might happen.
God,
Who knows?
I feel so absolved from last week.
All right. One other great stat. If Kyle Shanahan wins, he becomes what?
The second Shanahan.
First, yeah, exactly. First father-son. Yep, to have a Lombardi.
Good Pope stat.
All right, well, let's get to some bets, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, hold on. So first of all, let's talk about the prop bets because I know you guys love these. So I've identified a few. These are hardcore locks. All right.
We're all going in on these, right, Milk? Everybody's in on that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to win money,
there is a lock of the century. I know you're going to get it, but there is a lock of the century. I'll put as much as you guys want to put on it.
Really? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Let's start with some that I've identified here. The first one is, what is the color Gatorade that the winning coach will have thrown on them? I think you have to look to your history. If you think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl, which I do.
Isn't it orange usually?
Last year, they threw purple on Andy Reid.
There it is in his background.
Exactly. That's my background picture. Teams are, it's all about doing the same thing every year. Superstitious. They probably have purple Gatorade. That's going on Andy Reid. The over-under on the National Anthem is 90.5 seconds.
That's a lot.
Who is singing it? Reba McEntire. I feel like Reba McEntire.
She's got to go over because she adds like 4 syllables to words that are 1 syllable long.
The shortest one ever is like 1:26.
I went back and researched this.
Catherine
Hepburn did one at 88 seconds.
She did?
She did an 88-second one. This is 1999, of course. I'm just saying. I think you should go. They want you to go.
I don't know.
Go under.
I think Reba's no nonsense. She goes under.
All right.
Under 90 what seconds?
90.5 seconds.
The 0.5 is key.
The 0.5 is huge.
Who's got a stopwatch?
Wait,
all right, let's do an SMQBs.
I think the under is a lock.
Let's do SMQB's pool bet. We'll all Venmo you, Milk. You place it.
Okay.
For
the other one is this
for the whole schlemiel.
This one's for Nace. Will Taylor Swift be mentioned in the MVP ceremony? Mentioned in any way? Just her name has to be said.
Where does it end? Where does it start and end?
It's plus 600 if she's mentioned.
Is it the person who's the MVP has to say her name?
Yeah, so it could be
the announcer.
Announced just in any form.
Like Goofy Jim Nance might say, well, for you Tay-Tays out there, MVP Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, that's it.
MVP Christian McCaffrey. I wonder what he's thinking about Taylor right now.
Taylor did not mention Travis last night.
Oh,
that's the Grammys.
She's not. She's not being mentioned. The MVP.
It's minus 1,100 on not being mentioned. So they're saying that she's not.
She's not.
I say no.
Most passing yards. I like Mahomes over
I do too.
Purdy.
I do
CMC on the rushing yards.
I like that
under
too.
is 47.5.
Ooh, that's low.
47. Oh, you're talking about the points in the game, not rushing yards.
That's low.
No. Yeah. Points in the game, 47.5.
Okay, so I got this. So the San Francisco scored this year 28.9 points per game, and KC scored 21.8 points per game. So their average between them was a little over 50 points. I think the over is solid in this game. Yeah. Not just based on that. Just based on there's going to be like a frenetic pace late in the game to score points.
Well, so the last game was 31-20. They got 51 points in the last Super Bowl 4 years ago.
There you go.
And I think the offenses might arguably be a little better.
But the defenses are too.
Yeah, both defenses are good.
I don't know. I like the under this one.
Oh, Nace the Greek.
Nastradamus.
Whatever you say.
Nastradamus.
Okay.
Do you know the line?
We might have to split the SMQB bet on this one.
Milk, give me some other props like coin flips, all that kind of fun stuff.
Oh, I got one for you.
How about
total number of This is a good one. Total number of players to attempt to pass 2.5.
I'd take the over because Debo's going to throw one.
Because there's always a halfback option. Always.
Debo's going to throw one.
Okay. How many songs will be played during the halftime show? Over under of 8.5.
Under.
Usher.
Under.
Is there any special guess?
Over. And you can also
they're going to do a mashup. If they do a mashup,
what if they do a medley? Does
that
song count?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a bad one.
All right. Which song will be performed first at the halftime show? Yeah. DJ Got Us Falling in Love, or You Make Me Wanna. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's starting the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh my God.
No, it's
I'm going to say it again. Listen, here's this. See if you can find these odds for me real quick. I've kind of done the science and math on this. I don't think it can even be even. The jersey number of the first TD to score, odds versus even. I went through it. Mahomes, Kelsey, Rashee Rice, McCaffrey, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jerick McKinnon, Debo, Purdy, they all have odd numbers.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, what are the odds on that?
I don't know, but it can't be even. Whatever we can get.
How about the line for the number of appearances Swift makes on the Canadian broadcast during the game is set at 5.5. The over is plus 120 of the Canadian broadcast.
Why does Miller get a different broadcast? You don't have to listen to Nance and Romo?
Oh my God! What's with all the complaining about the announcers? These guys do a good job.
I saw a prop.
It's like an American pastime now.
Will there be a graphic played during the Super Bowl that shows Taylor's travel from Tokyo to Las Vegas to get to the Super Bowl?
100%.
That might be, but that might be pregame. That might be during the pregame show, though.
Speaking of Nance and Romo, though, has anyone noticed lately that I still think Jim Nance has it when he's talking, but in the down moments when he's not talking, does anyone notice how weird he looks? Just kind of looking over at Romo, he just looks kind of creepy all of a sudden. What's going on with him?
I don't know.
I thought Romo
I hadn't really
Take a look at him. Take a look at this.
I thought Romo was amazing in the first season, and ever since he's been downright annoying.
I think he's making there's an uptick. He's back. He's having a little uptick right now.
Yeah.
He's studying again.
He's fine.
Let me throw out this last
Wait,
one to you guys.
So what's the over under on how many times we see Taylor in the suite?
No, I
Oh,
couldn't
probably
find
20.
22.
It's set at 5. It's set at 5.5
In Canada.
Oh, it would go over, way
in
over.
Canada.
Do
Way
they have
over.
a different broadcast?
Every
I don't
time,
know.
every time Travis catches the ball, every time Kansas City scores, if Travis gets hurt, if he blocks the crap out of somebody, every time.
What about Jason
I got a good
Kelsey
one.
taking his shirt off? What's the over? What's the bet on that one?
He's not even gonna.
Donna's
There
not
won't be a
letting it
shirt to
happen.
take off. He's not wearing one.
I got one. Odds that Travis gets down on a knee and proposes after winning the Super Bowl.
No, same
0.
odds that she endorses Biden at halftime.
0. It's just not happening.
But wait, I got two. These are two good
somebody
ones.
wearing a red MAGA hat's head explodes during the game.
I want y'all's take on this one. The MVP winner will be Mahomes, Purdy, or any other player.
Other.
Any other.
CMC.
Other. It's going to be Kelsey.
Okay, and then
That could be Mahomes.
Could be Pacheco.
Could be Mahomes. Who will have the most receiving yards? Kelsey, Debo, Ayuk, or Rice, or other?
I'm going Ayuk.
I think that's a pretty good call. I think that's almost like a quasi surprise bet there with Ayuk. Unless they are coached by Rooster and double team Kelsey, it's just going to be Kelsey. He's just going to do it.
I like Rice. He's kind of.
He's good.
Sneaky.
Come on, man.
Games this year.
So you have two guys you need to cover on the whole team. How hard is that?
Oh, you don't
Well,
have
the thing
faith in
is-
Valdez Scantling?
But
No.
Debo gets all those yak yards,
Yeah.
so it's a little screen pass, but then he runs for 40 yards. I don't know. That's a tough bet. That one's a really
That's a tough
bet.
one. Stay away from that one. That's
what have
trouble.
we made our money on so far, Milk? I don't even know what we've bet.
Well, I'm going with purple Gatorade. I'm going under 90.5. So someone needs to time this during the Super Bowl. And I'm going not mentioned on Taylor Swift, but I'm going to have to bet $1 billion to win $5.
But here's the thing. The math on the coin flip, I think the line is telling us here that it's been 57 Super Bowls, 30 tails, 27 heads. I just don't see tails running away with this thing. I think we got to go heads there.
I like it. I
think it's a year for the heads.
I
can't remember the last time I saw a head.
We better get to the next topic.
By the way, speaking of
there's the emoji.
Speaking of the announcers, who thinks that it was a huge mistake to get rid of Greg Olsen and bring in the GOAT, Tom Brady? I think
Big
Brady
mistake.
doesn't.
No, I like Greg. He's good.
Greg's
Well,
good.
Greg
I don't
is
think
great, but
Tom
he's-
Brady has the personality.
I have
to
a
pull it off.
question.
We won't know because Tom Brady had the audition. Is there any tape? I mean, at least Aikman went to do Europe for a
Right,
year.
they handed
and came
him
back.
the job.
Yeah.
They handed him the job.
But I have a question though.
Wait, he's been hitting balls at Pebble. Have y'all seen that drive?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm not making fun of it.
Who's Brady getting paired up with?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Do they even know that yet? I
It
don't
was
think they
Greg
know.
Olsen's partner. Who was that?
I
I don't even know who that
Wait.
guy was.
I mean, I guess what I'm
Olsen is
saying
still.
is if Brady sucks, and we have no idea how he's going to be. He could be excellent, but if he sucks, won't they just start shifting Olsen to the better games?
Well, I don't know. Does Fox even have a contract with Olsen for next year? I mean, is he even
I
under
think so.
contract?
I think
They
so.
fire him or something?
No, I don't think they fired him.
Oh,
I mean, are they going to move him to the number 2, Mike?
That's my understanding.
But it sounded like Olsen said he was looking for a 1 somewhere.
Well, I think what he said was he liked doing the big games. I'm not sure that he really said like I'm either starting or I'm out.
How pathetic is that? We don't know the play-by-play guy for the number 1 Fox team. He must not have stood out.
Well,
that's
anyway.
what happens. That's what happens when you watch Red Zone. Really,
Kevin
I mean, I'm telling you.
Kevin Burkhardt. I couldn't have thought that in a million years.
No.
Yeah, but they were good to listen to though. So,
Yeah, he's actually pretty good. It's just that he's not a
yeah,
well-known name.
He's not like
Right.
Joe Buck.
right. All right, we gotta pick our winners,
Sure.
right? Pope,
Yeah.
what do you got?
I got to repeat. I got Chiefs 31, Niners 20.
No, we're going numbers too. All right.
Yeah, of course, numbers.
Rooster?
I'm going Niners. Don't have a score.
Well, figure out one.
Wait,
Niners
Pope,
win. That's my score.
You said
Nope.
31-20, Pope?
Yeah, 31, same as Super Bowl 4 years ago.
Okay.
I'm going Chiefs 24, Niners 17. They cover.
All right, I got the Chiefs. I'm going 27-23.
I've got the Niners 30-24. Niners get it done and end this Chiefs ride.
Jeez.
So we go 3-2. Interesting. Well, I think I've got a good segue for you guys to get into the coaches, because we learned today about Bieniemy's firing, being replaced by Cliff Kingsbury in Washington. So here's my question. Is there a chance that if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, that Andy Reid will retire and be replaced by Eric Bieniemy?
No.
I would have said
definitely
yes a
retired.
year ago for sure. Something's up with Bieniemy, man. I don't know what it is, but something's up. The league has turned on him.
Yeah.
Well, Reed's not going anywhere.
Oh,
You
I
don't think
he
I'm not
is.
sure about
Yeah, I
I'm not
think he
sure
is.
about that. I think he is.
I think he is too.
What
If he
does he
wins,
have
I
to
think he
prove if
is.
he wins another
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, if he wins another one, he's a grandfather. He's got a kid, in jail.
Yeah.
He's spent a lot of time with that kid's kid as a granddad. I think he's ready to wrap it up.
I think he's going to
Yeah.
ride Mahomes a little longer.
I mean, it's a great gig.
Yep.
But those guys work like dogs
Yeah.
during the
Dogs.
season. And he's not a
Yeah.
young man. And he's not
Yeah.
in very good shape either.
He's not?
He needs to take care of himself. I see him going.
Well, there's
Maybe that's
always
why he's going to get caught with a hooker. It's kind of like self-inflicted.
Yeah.
He better have Kraft's lawyer on speed dial then.
Amen.
Can we talk about Pope's coined term that he better run to the U.S. Trade Patent Office for on the Washington Calmanders? Can we talk about that?
Salamanders.
Oh God! Well, you got our DC or our secondary coach too.
So there's been a lot talked about on this, and it's kind of I don't know, it's kind of interesting. I heard someone the other day, and I didn't really know this to be the case, but it was another podcast. It was fairly reputable. And they said if you went into the coaching season, you would have said that Dan Quinn was one of the top 3 available.
Right. Yeah, I heard that too.
Candidates.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And it kind of caught me a little off guard. But the other thing that's been reported quite a bit in Washington was that the number of people who were texting and calling Washington on behalf of Quinn blew away every other candidate in the NFL, not even close. For some reason, he has enormous respect around the league. And it just like people came out of the woodwork to support him to be a head coach. So I don't know. I mean, listen, how do we really know? We're going to go through all these guys. I will say this. I really don't like all the stories about the Detroit guy. I can't even remember his name anymore. Ben Johnson. I already put him out of my brain. I don't like the stories that are coming out because I don't want to go back to that Dan Snyder era where things are leaked all the time. There's a lot of stuff coming out now that he didn't interview very well, that he's kind of prickly, that he wanted, a huge contract. He wanted control in the offensive personnel. There's a lot of stuff like that. And then he kind of came out and said, well, he pulled his name out because he wasn't impressed with the basketball people.
Yep.
And there's a lot of pot shots. I'll say this about Ben Johnson, though. There's only 32 of these jobs available. And you get 2 years in a row where you pull your name out. What are you waiting for? what are you doing? People, and then stories like this come out. Um, you got to take your shot when you get it. I don't know. I'm not sure he played his cards right here. I'd be curious to see if he ends up a head coach next year.
Well, and the Lions, they could have a step back next year. I mean, they were.
But I think it's pretty clear that there are some people who are A+ coordinators and not good head coaches. And if you know that about yourself, you don't want to be a head coach. I don't mean to bash the Commanders, but in my opinion, Dan Quinn for a head coach is a hell of a defensive coordinator. I don't think he's a great head coach. And there are other people out there like that. I think what happened with Dan Quinn, though, I think you're absolutely right. Beginning of this year, if you had said, if you needed a coach at the end of the year, who's high on your list? Quinn, Belichick, Vrabel, they would have all been up there, and now they're not.
Yeah.
I think in Dan Quinn's instance, certainly that playoff loss had a lot to do with it, where they got blasted. The other team put up a ton of points against them. But also there's this new phenomenon where everybody wants a coach who's like 42 or younger.
Yeah.
And the less experienced, the better, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, isn't McDonald like,
36,
36, half the age of Pete Carroll.
Brian Callahan, 39 years old. I actually think he's a good pick for the Titans because they get a freebie. They get the best offensive line coach in football along with Brian Callahan. They get his dad, Bill, who the Ravens nicely said, we'll release you. You can go join your son's staff.
But, if you look at those hires, okay, so here's what we got. We got Antonio Pierce to the Raiders. This is in no particular order. Jared Mayo, the Pats, Quinn in Washington, Callahan in Tennessee, Raheem Morris in Atlanta, Dave Canales in Carolina, Mike McDonald in Seattle, and Harbaugh to the Chargers. There's only one of those teams, in my eyes, that's really ready to win, right? And that's the Chargers. With Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, that's why he went there.
House, you look skeptical.
I mean, I don't think Seattle's that far away.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't think Seattle's that far away. What I find interesting in these coaches, at the way you rattled them off here, is that there's like a divide between competent, experienced, either coordinators or people who've really been around the game, and like the players guys. This is a really interesting development that's happening, I think, in the NFL. We've seen it previously play out in the NBA, but I think it's an interesting transition that it's gone from that kind of old man's game who's a lifer in the NFL to now the younger coaches that are coming in who are kind of like either the offensive, defensive savant, but they just are beloved by the players. I mean, Pierce, I don't think was their first choice, but it was the players' first choice. And they had some players, key players, one of whom was Max Crosby, who was ready to leave if they didn't take Pierce.
Yep.
And it's probably not a big risk. And there's a couple of other guys.
I think the
on that
owner
list.
backed himself into that too, Davis, where he basically was way too player accessible. And, the players basically told him to run the last guy out, and probably rightfully so. But he couldn't afford to have the players second guessing his pick this time around. He had to keep Pierce, and I think he should have.
What do you remember about Raheem Morris?
Oh,
Was he any good?
He played.
Oh,
Milk wanted him fired.
Well, look, here's the thing with these guys, and especially with Dan Quinn, I think you put him in the same category. These guys were head coaches, several years ago. Quinn had much more experience, but like Raheem was elevated when Gruden was fired. He was like an assistant coach, and suddenly overnight he was the head coach, and it was too much too soon. And he lost control of the team after 2 years. He also had Josh Freeman, who was a drug addict, but
there's that.
That's from what I've heard. So, I don't know. I mean, sometimes a second go around after they get a little bit more experience can be fruitful.
One of these guys is Milk's favorite author. Do you know which one?
Is that
One of these 8 coaches?
Favorite author? I'm not familiar.
Dave Canales.
Gabe Canales?
He had wrote a book a couple years ago
He did.
about,
He did. He's
about
he's put the-
overcoming sexual infidelity,
he's
addiction to
he's
porn,
put the
and binge
porn in-
drinking.
Oh my
And
I
it's-
will
God!
say,
How about
by the way,
gambling?
Finding the Christianity
And
in the
gambling?
process.
hey,
Yeah.
he's we've all
Well,
been
by
there.
the way, I mean,
Wait,
That's why I
we've
said
all
he's your
been there?
favorite author.
Liked
By
his
the way,
presser.
I
I thought he gave an emotional presser. I thought his press conference was very moving.
I think
Canales.
Carolina's doing exactly what they should be doing. He did really well with Gino. He did very well with Baker. They're trying to see if Bryce Young is the guy or not. And he has
Not.
success with
all
quarterbacks.
right, but
so I
let's
don't know.
let at the
I'll take
beginning of
not,
this
if
season.
that's one of the bets.
At the beginning of this season, I said coordinators matter. And so, to this point, you got all these head coaching hires, but look at all of them. I mean, they're all pretty inexperienced, most of them. And how they fill out their staffs is going to be really important, isn't it?
Absolutely. I thought you were wrong.
And then Harbaugh.
I thought you were wrong about the Eagles. You turned out to be dead right about the Eagles, about how far they dropped off because they lost Steichen and Gannon. And now I think they've righted the ship, bringing in Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio as experienced coordinators that know what they're doing, and bringing an adult in the room.
Have fun with Kellen.
I think he'll be fine. I mean, I think he goes for the long ball a lot, which is a little bit of a problem, but that's okay. But
He really turned the Chargers around.
I think it's a fair point about the coordinators. Why aren't we
high
talking
octane Dallas offense?
Why aren't we talking as the coaching hires that some coaches remained on teams? Like, why are we not talking about Mike McCarthy staying with the Cowboys? We haven't even hit that yet.
I thought we hit that.
We talked about that after they lost
when it happened.
They stuck with McCarthy.
Yeah, but he's dangling. I mean, this whole season, his job's on the line.
Yeah, but you're the Eagles. The Eagles stuck with Sirianni.
Yeah, you said he was gone.
I didn't want him to. I did not want them to. And I think the Cowboys fans, didn't want them to stick with McCarthy. Right, Pope?
They weren't.
I don't know how you stick with McCarthy.
They're McCarthy and Dak are stuck together. That's the problem. You can't get rid of McCarthy and bring in a third, voice for Dak. It's just not going to work. And Dak's going to get a long-term contract. I mean,
They're going to
With
pay
Dallas?
there's not anywhere he's going to go.
He's staying with Dallas?
Dak?
I'm hearing
Of course.
$60 million.
Why would they
Yes.
re-sign him to another long-term contract?
Why would they
then?
sign him again?
Why not just
Because they look
tag
out
him.
there and there's, it's Dallas. It's Jerry. He likes where he is, even though they don't win Super Bowls. Hey,
Because he's making so
what
much
they get.
fucking
he's
money.
he's got Dolly Parton at halftime in a Cowboy cheerleader outfit. Come
Yeah,
on, that
he's
was
just
the
making so
that was the
much
best
money.
moment of his entire football, lifetime.
The Cowboys are going
Yes.
to pay him $50 to $60 million a year.
I
They
hope
are.
so. Please.
Absolutely.
And
they are.
it'll be an
that'd
albatross.
be good for all of us.
Oh,
Yeah.
it'd be great.
We haven't
Excellent.
talked about Coach Bro going to your OC, Bison. What do you think about that?
I think it's
Yeah.
great.
Oh,
Bring me
Why?
Caleb. Bring me Caleb.
Well, that's true.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it's all
Well, we're
about.
gonna
right?
see how that plays out in the next.
I don't
couple
know
months.
about that, man. I don't know about
Well,
that.
we'll see. I mean, he's a pretty
Didn't
good coach, though.
Didn't Caleb take a step back under him last year?
Either any which way with Caleb. I mean, he's done pretty well coaching quarterbacks, and they're going to have two young quarterbacks on the team. So I don't think it's a bad hire. I mean, he's got a kind of an open up, fun offense. We haven't had much offense. I mean, I don't know. What do I know? All these guys are crapshoots.
He'll be
Who knows?
great. He'll be great with Drake.
Sam Howell and Drake May to be
Yeah, he'll be
your
great
1
with
and
Drake
2.
May.
Drake
Well,
May
he
and
might
Sam
be.
Howell is your 1 and 2.
Listen, somebody said Drake May was a bigger, faster Justin Herbert today. So I don't know why everyone's so down on him. I mean, as being a bad pick. If he's a bigger, faster Herbert, then that's okay with me.
Well,
First of
I
all-
think
first of all,
there's
he's never
gun shy
played.
from North Carolina quarterbacks right now between Trubisky and Howell.
Well, plus,
think
he
Howell's
hasn't
not
played.
that bad.
He's playing in the ACC. The competition's not the same as an SEC player gets, and I mean, he's had bad games against that, some of the better teams in the ACC.
Interesting.
I mean,
is
how
that Dan Quinn wanted to take this job with eyes wide open that they're going QB at number 2, which probably means something like 3-14, 4-13 season 1, maybe 6-11 season 2. Like, you got to build with the quarterback with that a little bit. It's interesting that Quinn would be willing at this stage of his career to do that and be
you know how
that
old he is?
How old is he?
53.
Yeah.
He looks
He's not that old.
he looks
No.
older.
Chicken.
He's not
But
that
he's-
old.
He's
Hey.
not, but he's been around the game for a long time. That's a
Yeah.
sucky way to live for the
You
next
know-
couple of years.
Should we wish him happy 28-3 day, since today is the anniversary of that?
Oh God, I
Hey,
forgot
he
that was
got
him.
he got to a Super Bowl, right? As a head coach.
He did get it to a Super
He
Bowl.
certainly did.
Yeah,
He
now
definitely got through 3
I'm going to have
quarters.
to adjust my statement that for a head coach, he's a great defensive coordinator. I'm going to adopt Pope's position. He's a great in-season defensive coordinator.
There you go, Rooster.
We'll
So
see,
much hate.
fellas.
So much
And you know
hate,
what?
Chase.
I know.
His defenses against the bad teams are really fucking good. They'll put a lot of points on the board for you.
Well,
Here's what
I may, in
look,
fact,
I don't-
I may take Washington for my fantasy defense next year, because I know they'll put a lot of points on the board for bad teams.
all I know is in his last 2 years in Atlanta, I think he started 0-7, then he turned it around and he saved his job. And then he started 1-7 and was fired mid-season.
Yeah.
That something is bothering me about that.
I want to be an equal opportunity offender here, though, and say this. I think Vic Fangio is old news. The league's figured out his defense, and he never changes. It's stale. The Eagles are going to be sorry they hired him.
Oh,
I won't commit one way or the other. I think they need I just think they need an adult in the room. They had very young coordinators, and you're right. Fangio's been around for a while, and I think he's going to bring some stability to that defense. It gave up a lot of points, had a lot of problems. We'll see.
I look forward to them coming to Tampa. I'm excited about it.
I'll be there.
NFL teams' offensive coordinators are really smart, and they figure shit out. And if you keep doing the same thing every year, no matter how good you are, it gets figured out. That's why everybody wants the Ravens coordinators and defensive assistant coaches this year.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
another interesting thing on the coaches, by the way, is not everybody did go with a big time offensive coach, right? I mean, there were a fair amount of defensive coaches hired, which going into it, everybody would say, "Oh my God, that's ridiculous! You got to have a young offensive guru, a young genius come in here who knows offense." And it was about 50-50, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you think about it. The Seahawks, if your knee jerk would be, the Seahawks, they must need an offensive coordinator because they're certainly not going to go with Geno forever, and they're going to need
Right.
somebody to take on a new quarterback. They went defense. They went basically with a young version of Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
And they
Geno.
decided their defense wasn't up to snuff against the rest of the teams in the NFC West. They need a better defense.
Yeah.
Aren't they paying him $30 million a year?
Who?
Geno. They have
Geno?
to.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
their quarterback.
Yeah.
All right.
At least you didn't hire your offensive coordinator from the University of Kentucky this past week. So it should be interesting.
Yeah. You guys are giving me shit about Quinn. I'm really not sure who's sitting any prettier than I am right now in this room.
The guy's highlight was Wandale Robinson 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
So, all right, let's get to a punch. Who's got a punchable face?
I have a milk slap.
I love
it
that.
may rise to the level of a punch. I'm going to punch Cam Newton, who,
Yes, I like
God
this.
damn it,
I
get
love when
so
we punch
tired of
Cam
these
Newton,
washed
anytime.
up stars who try to regain relevance by tweeting nasty shit about current players. And, he's all over Brock Purdy now. And his latest tweet was, Brock Purdy is not even the 10th best player on the 49ers. It's like, Cam, who are you, man? Just what are you doing? Why are you attacking this guy right leading up to the Super Bowl? And I loved Brock Purdy's response. He said, that may be true, but I took account and there are 90 players in the NFL right now, and you ain't one of them.
90 quarterbacks.
So Brock bitch slapped him right back.
Nice.
I
It's
have
true.
I have a punch.
Oh, good.
I have a punch for all media outlets, TV media personalities, and hot takes that went off on Soft and Embiid needing to take load management. And I'm giving a hug again to my man, LeBron James, who tweeted, where are all the media outlets, TV media personalities, hot takes that talk so much shit about Joel Embiid missing those games when he knew what he was dealing with? Now he's out with an injury because of it. Not one person has went back on their TV or their dumbass podcasts and apologized to that man. No accountability. I couldn't say it better, LeBron. Poor Embiid, get better soon. And for all of you that dragged him across for being a wuss because of his load management issues, he knew what he was dealing with, and now he got Shane back onto the court, and we're suffering and are going to suck the rest of the year.
How long is he going to be out?
I've been reading about this.
Isn't that like
because I have the same
6 to 8
injury.
weeks?
It's at least a month of rehab.
3 to 4 months he's out.
Oh,
3 to 4
really?
months?
From 3 to 4 months from playing. As Rooster could be back in a month with the same injury. And
Of course he would.
Embiid, yeah,
No,
exactly.
because
So-
my idea
Rooster's
of being
a
back is
physical specimen.
being able to walk
No,
from my
it's 'cause-
car into my office.
That's because Rooster's gonna take steroids, get on the juice.
it's a
No.
very different thing.
I'm
from
not going to be running
holding a
up and down
remote
the court.
holding a remote control and grabbing a rebound. So
Right.
it's
Is
an
it-
extra 2 months.
And I don't weigh, what is he, like 285?
Yeah.
That's a lot of weight to be slamming down on your knee after surgery.
Yeah. All right, who's got a lasso? Crickets.
Come on.
Yeah,
Well,
no
Anyone?
feel-good
Anyone?
stories this
Anyone?
week.
There's a great feel-good story. Chris Nace wants to tell the feel-good story about Taylor Swift's record last night.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
you know what? There's a big announcement last night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, big
I-
announcement.
Fun.
I
I'm
am
excited.
not giving a lasso to Taylor.
What's the
What?
name of that? The
I
Dead
wanna
Poets
give-
Society.
I'm going to give a
What's it gonna be
lasso to
called?
the designer of Miley Cyrus's dress. That is a true feel-good story.
Okay. So we're on to buzzer beaters.
Yeah, on the buzzer beaters. Who's got a buzzer beater?
All right, I got one. You can see from my background, big game on Saturday night. I was happy to be present
Sure.
as Carolina finally beat Duke, first time in 3 years at the Dean Dome. So we're back, and Hubert Davis had a great game coaching. Baycott had 25 points. Harrison Ingram, who I think if you watch my TikTok, I said he's going to be the one you're going to get to meet the Dukies tonight. So I can see that we have UConn now up. The new poll came out. UConn's still number 1. Carolina's still number 3, even though they
Number
lost.
1, baby.
Yeah. And good times back in Chapel Hill. My other buzzer beater is it's sadness at Jerry World this week, as Dallas did not get what they had assumed for a couple years now, that they were going to get the finals of the 2026 World Cup. All the way to the point where we had a press conference at AT&T Stadium with some of the legendary sports figures in Dallas. Dirk was there, Emmitt Smith was there, Marty Turco was there. It was a big celebration with champagne getting ready to be busted out when the announcement was made that New Jersey had stolen it from Dallas. So even though we get 9 games and it's going to be a blast, can't wait. Probably we'll travel around to other cities where you guys are located for games too. we had hoped to get the crown jewel of all world sports, and we're sadly disappointed. So congratulations, Jersey boys. Bra and Darcy will be up there in 2 years for the big game.
We definitely will.
I'll follow that with buzzer beaters. I first want to say I think FIFA got it right. They had a lot of good choices between LA and Dallas and Atlanta and New York, but
LA actually was not eligible. Their stadium was not big enough. I found that out.
Why did you think? Why was it so certain it was going to be Dallas?
There were a lot of leaks that it was going to be.
Oh, the rumors had been there, and the FIFA top brass was here all week.
Remember, this was a North American vote that got it. So it's Mexico, Canada, and the US, and Dallas is central. It's close to a huge fan base in Mexico, but I still think at the end of the day, the melting pot of New York won. No matter what team is there, you're going to have a contingent of tens or hundreds of thousands of fans that actually live in the city that are going to want to support that. I think they made the right call that way.
Well,
for an international sport.
Jerry did mention that in the press conference afterwards. He said he felt like New York got it for the reason that they're, from a world perspective, everybody knows New York. If it was just about the country, I mean, everybody knows Dallas Cowboys, we would have got it, but it was the world. And I can't disagree with you, House. I mean, it is just personally very disappointing to not have that here at my stadium.
My other buzzer beater is, in this world of the US, where we're all focused on football and basketball, there are some like tectonic plates moving in the world of sports, with the biggest athletes in the world moving. Lewis Hamilton moving from Mercedes to Ferrari is about as big as sports news that you can get, until it gets eclipsed this summer when Kylian Mbappe moves from PSG to Real Madrid. Those outside the United States, those are two of the biggest athletes in the entire world, and both of them moved this week. There's a lot of big news. There's a lot already in January between retirements like Belichick and all these other stories, and now there's already rumors. I know we didn't get to NBA. We'll get to it next week, but does LeBron hang on with the Lakers? There was all kinds of little symbolism with him wearing a Knicks towel and everything.
Yeah.
Does LeBron move also?
He posted an hourglass on his X account.
Imagine
Lewis, Mbappe, and LeBron moving the same year. Go ahead.
Well, so that was going to be mine, was the Lewis story, because we didn't mention it. We kind of alluded to it at our sit down at the bar time. But how weird though that decision is made, and now they're gearing up for this season, and he's going to be driving Mercedes this year, right? I mean, really, he's like, bye-bye, suckers, in a year. Let's go get him.
A lame duck entire year.
That is odd.
And it'll be interesting to watch George Russell. Will Russell get his elbows out a little more with Lewis this year, knowing that they're not going to be driving together anymore?
Yeah.
So,
speaking of LeBron and the Knicks, I think actually my buzzer beater is, I think that would ruin the chemistry of the Knicks currently. The Knicks are now 15-3 since trading for OG Anunoby and Precious. What is it? Achua.
Mm-hmm.
But that's an amazing story to me, considering that Julius is hurt, but they're still continuing to win. Precious. They played the Pacers the other night. The Pacers led the whole game, and OG was out. Julius Randle was out, and Precious came in and played a great ball. But I think the story that's going under the radar in the East is the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavaliers have the same streak going as the Knicks, and are 2 games ahead of the Knicks and the Sixers in the loss column right now. And nobody talks about them, but they've come on strong and have a huge, similar like 16-2 record or something like that going on right now. So it'll be interesting to see. I think the NBA East is so superior to the West right now. I would take any of the top 6 teams in a series over every Western team except maybe the Nuggets.
Watch for LeBron to Cleveland as a possibility as well to finish his career where he started.
I think
And
the
it's
Warriors. I would put
hometown.
my bet on the Warriors.
With Steph?
Yeah.
Nah.
Mm-mm.
All right. Any
I
other
guess-
buzzer beaters?
I mean, I guess one to watch. Maybe next pod we'll know, but it looks like our good buddy Christian Horner at Red Bull Racing might be in trouble. So something to watch.
How did he do?
He'll get a little hand slap,
Yeah.
a
I
little
don't know.
spanky.
Enjoy the Super Bowl, everybody.
Well, those facts haven't been developed yet, so we'll leave it right there. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty, so we'll
Watch
leave
this
it there.
space.
Yeah. All
Just
right,
reporting.
guys. Happy
Go Chiefs.
Super Bowl week. Happy
Chiefs.
Super Bowl week. Go
Go
Taylor.
Niners.
Go
Run
Purple
CMC.
Gatorade.